Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rockies Night, where we cycle tonight. I'm Tony Edgington. I'm going to be the host for ride dedications before our host Edward comes on with our cyclists. So we have a few cyclists join us later, but for now, we're going to start off with our usual ride dedications. I want to thank you for joining our daily ride dedications tonight as part of Texas 4000 for Cancer's 2020 Summer Virtual Ride presented by Abbott. At Texas 4000, before every ride, we take a moment to remind ourselves why our mission to fight cancer is so important by making ride dedications for those that we ride in honor of memory of. And we invite others to share a ride dedication for those that they love and in their lives that have been affected by cancer, so we may ride for them too. Ride dedications serve as fuel for us every day of our ride and our journey with Texas 4000. And to know that you're not alone. So there's many people's lives and lives of loved ones that have been affected by cancer, and we ride for them all. So here's a quick video on what ride dedications are.
Texas 4000 is the largest annual charity bike ride that takes place every summer from Austin to Anchorage, Alaska, with the purpose of spreading our mission of hope, knowledge, and charity in the fight against cancer. A ride dedication is a way that we start a lot of our meetings or a lot of our rides. This is when we dedicate a ride or a part of our ride to somebody who has been in some way affected by cancer.
A ride dedication is motivation to me because when I'm going up a steep hill or it's been a really long ride, the ride dedications that I hear from my teammates and myself are the reasons that I keep riding.
Due to the current circumstances surrounding COVID-19, it's no longer safe for us to do our typical bicycle ride from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska. So instead, we've decided to do things virtually this summer.
So we will be having our cycling events virtually. We will be engaging with our community virtually.
A virtual ride dedication works largely the same way as a normal ride dedication. Before every meeting or before every virtual ride, you would say, I ride for this person. And if you want to, you can go into a little bit more detail about how that person touched your life.
You can submit your ride dedications via 3 different platforms. You can submit a ride dedication via the Texas 4000 webpage. You can join our Facebook live stream, or you can join our Zoom calls.
The virtual ride will be going on from May 29th to June 26th, and ride dads will be held before host interactions in the afternoon and at 7:30 to 8 a.m. Central Time every morning.
Thank you so much for participating.
Join us at texas4000.org. Together we can make a difference.
Great, so now we're going to welcome some of our riders that will be with us this evening. And we have Paige, Brian, and Simon joining us this evening with the Rockies route. There they are. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good to see my pals. Y'all ready to bike?
Absolutely. Let's get it.
So yeah, we're gonna start off with ride dedications. If you're watching, like usual, feel free to put your ride dedications in Facebook under the live stream and the live comments, or on YouTube if you're watching from YouTube, and we'll read them off on the screen to our viewers. But to start us off, would each of y'all like to give a ride dedication for this evening while you're riding? And we'll start with Brian.
Yeah, for sure. So as always, I will ride for Coach Mayberry, who passed away in February after a 2-year-long battle with lymphoma. But also, I'd like to give a ride dead to my close friends Shelby and Cody. Their very best friend James passed away a couple of years ago, and Shelby really wanted to join Texas 4000, but she couldn't because she was graduating and moving to Houston. So I'm riding for them.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Brian. Paige, would you like to give yours?
Yeah, so tonight I'd say I'm riding for one of my really good friends in Kappa, her family friend who has a recurrence of AML. And so she is having to go through treatment right now, and she's in high school. And then also for one of our teammates, Colin, and his family, because his mom just passed away from cancer. So that's definitely been on the minds of our team a lot this past week. So riding for him.
Definitely. We're riding for Colin, especially during this time when he needs us all. Simon, would you like to give yours?
Today I'm writing for a colleague of one of my parents that reached out to me after one of my social media campaigns, and her life had significantly been impacted by cancer. Her mom passed away in 2010 from breast cancer, and her best friend's mom passed away in 2001 from brain cancer. So I'm writing for Joan Whirling and in memory of Nancy Brannigan and Jude St. Ange. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Simon. I'll have one that I'll give now, but we'll have time to share plenty more over the next few minutes. I would like to ride today for one of my good friends who was a student at UT as well. I knew her through one of my student organizations. Her name is Megan, and her mother, Lisa Fitch, passed away from cancer in 2009 at the age of 42. She had stage 4 breast cancer, and Megan and her sister were only teenagers when she passed. So Megan was a really good friend at UT. Unfortunately, she's not in Texas anymore, so I don't get to see her, but I'm still thinking about her and her family, and I'm writing for them today. And here we have a few ride dads. There's Allie. Allie is our Rockies ride director. So today Allie's writing for her Aunt Louie. She's a breast cancer survivor. Thanks for sharing, Allie.
I have another ride dead that I'd like to give. I was actually saving this one for our day 0, but unfortunately that never happened. I'd like to give a ride dead to Nayeon Kim. She's a 2018 Rockies alum who helped me out a lot whenever I was writing out my application for Texas 4000. I guess about like 2 years ago now. So, who knows? Without her help, maybe I won't even be here today with you guys. So, thank you, Nayeon. Writing for you.
Thanks for sharing, Brian. We have one from Abraham, our Rockies teammate. We'll ride for Kurut. And one from Bill. We'll ride for your mother-in-law, Donna, a breast cancer survivor. That's amazing. We'll ride for her today. Awesome. Snaps. So yeah, keep those comments coming in. Let's, we do ride dedications like this virtually right now for our summer ride, but that's not normally how they happen, right? Usually we're doing them in person in a big group. So would one of y'all like to explain kind of how ride dedications work during a normal summer ride, and during our training, how we meet, what it looks like when we're doing a ride dedication circle?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So before each ride, we get in a circle and we hold hands, maybe with the host for the day if we're leaving somewhere on the ride, and we share stories of people that we've met along the way, of people that have been impacted by cancer in our lives ourselves, and we use that to kind of remind each other why we're doing such a crazy thing. It's a really powerful time. It's like almost spiritual for everyone. That to bring us all together in this fight, and it's bike cycling is a mental game, so it's a mental activity, and having 80 miles ahead of you, 10 hours on the bike, it's very important to us, and we know it's important to the people who support us.
Definitely. It is very much spiritual. That is true. So Chris has one writing for Mark Clarkson. Chris is our Rockies teammate who's battling glioblastoma. But his recent MRI shows improvement, so that's awesome. Snaps for that too. Mary Grace, another one of our Rockies teammates, writing for my mom's friend Cindy. She's over halfway finished with her chemo sessions and being an absolute star. That's awesome. Great to hear. Then we have one from Emily. We'll write for your friend Sean. I hope he recovers well. Then Katie's one of our teammates. She's writing for Shruti, a 2021 writer. It's awesome. Yeah, they'll have their fitness test at the end of the summer. Yeah, a lot of us like to ride for people that we know on previous teams. Texas 4000, it's all UT students, so usually people know each other, other riders from previous teams and the future teams that are coming up. And so a lot of the riders help each other, get each other introduced to the organization. So one of my good friends, Maria, introduced me to Texas 4000, helped me through the application process and kind of letting me know what it would be like. So yeah, I read for Maria and helping me get involved with this organization. Do y'all have any friends that helped you get involved that you would like to ride for?
Yeah, actually, I have one of my really good friends is actually kind of what introduced me to Texas 4000. She was a Rockies 2018 rider. Her name's Linda Castronova, and I didn't know much about T4K at all, but I saw all of the pictures that she posted on social media during her ride summer, and after she got back, I talked to her for a long time about it. And then I remember like the week before the deadline, I was like, I think that this was something I kind of want to do. And then in typical Paige fashion, I procrastinated and ended up doing it the day before the deadline. I realized this is actually something that I really want to do. So I wrote my essay and here I am.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Another ride did from Emily, also writing for 5-year-old Kenzie, who just lost her battle with leukemia. Yeah, we'll definitely keep her on our thoughts. Thank you. I have another one that I can share. Writing for Bryn and her family and her dad especially, with his battle with pancreatic cancer, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I have one as well. Another one I'll share. I'd like to write for Tom and Michelle Koenig today. They're family friends from the Woodlands. They have known my parents for a while, and they're both cancer survivors. So writing for them. Yeah, to expand on what kind of Simon said earlier about how ride dedications work during the summer and our year, it is very powerful and it's very spiritual in a way because there's a lot of us standing around, right? If our full team's there, it's 80 people at least plus the host or any guests that we may have at an event, or alumni or coaches that are joining us for the ride circle. And so it's really amazing to see that many people come together, physically able to hold each other's hands. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that now, even though that's kind of the most powerful part of it is being together. But at least, we're able to share our sentiments still online. But yeah, the ride dedications can go on for a while, and they're really intense. Some days they don't last very long. We're ready to get on the bike. Some people are tired, but other days we have a lot to share and a lot to get off our chest. So they could be half an hour long at least, but it's really powerful. Definitely had my fair shares of tears during ride deads.
Thanks, Fareed. We'll be honored to ride for your wife too.
So another way we're able to get ride deads more informally is that when we fundraise, one way we fundraise is panhandling. So we go to the streets around Austin and we beg for money from cars, passerbyers, and so in exchange we ask for ride dedications for our donations. And so, is there any ride dedications that y'all remember getting during panhandling, kind of out on the streets of Austin that kind of stuck with you since?
I actually never panhandled, but I texted the team about this last week when my team was doing, like my team that I'm biking with this summer, me, Miley, Mahir, and Grayson. We were at Round Rock Donuts and somebody was driving by and I guess saw that our shirt said fighting for cancer on them. And they pulled off to the side of the road and asked us what we were doing and if it involved cancer. And then it was a man driving, and I think he was with his wife, and his wife rolled down the window and was like, "My name's Sarah, and I have colon cancer," and then asked for our website and wanted to look into what Texas 4000 was doing and asked us to ride for her that day, which I thought was really awesome. So keeping her in my thoughts today too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the cool thing about panhandling is you get to see such a wide variety of people who really resonate with our mission. We had at this one stop, we had this normal what are y'all about? Because we were just holding up signs. They probably didn't get a good chance to read it. We explained that we're a group of UT students that are working together to raise money in the fight against cancer and spread our 3 pillars. And he had his wife had actually passed away from I think it was colon cancer. And he actually said that, he doesn't have any cash on him, but he went to the bank, which was right around the corner. And then he came back to support us. And I think that's really a great memory. And, it's really awesome to see the impact that we have both at the level of spreading hope and at the level of, generating money that can go to grants for cancer research and support services.
That's awesome.
I remember one. It was actually the very first T4K event that I ever did, which was Coins for Cancer back in our onboarding year. We were by Whole Foods, I think on Lamar, and this gentleman just comes up to us and says, "Hey, I'm currently fighting cancer right now." I don't recall his name. It's been so long, but yeah, just being able to connect with a stranger that I just met about something so personal and so deep is part of the reason why this organization is so special and means so much. So yeah, keeping him in my thoughts today, and hopefully he's doing well.
It's great to hear. So that's my mom there. She works at Canopy as a volunteer. It's a cancer survivor center. So we will be writing for everyone who who's there at part of the Canopy community. So we have one from Alicia, she's part of the Anchorage Young Cancer Coalition. We've given donations to them, and that past helped many of their members, including herself. So we'll ride for the Anchorage Young Cancer Coalition today. Thanks for sharing. I have another one I'd like to share. For Elizabeth Mills, she's a lot of things to me. She's our neighbor, my family's neighbor. She is a really good family friend. She was my elementary school teacher at David Elementary in the Woodlands, and her husband passed away from cancer, and so kind of left her and her kids alone at a young age. So their family means a lot to me, and they've been supportive throughout this entire time. And so I'd like to ride for the Mills family today.
I've got another one. As always, I'm writing for my grandfather. He was the chief reason that I joined this org. And we're inching closer to the 5-year mark of his passing. It would have been on the ride, but with the shortened virtual ride experience, we're not going to get to give a ride dead on with the team on the day of his passing, but carrying his memory with me all the way through this.
Definitely. Well, feel free, y'all, to keep putting your ride dedications in the Facebook Live comments and on YouTube. We still have a few minutes left before the Rockies Riders cycle at 8:30 for an hour, and they will be we'll be joined by our guest host Edward, who will interview these 3 riders here and talk about different aspects of Texas 4000 while they bike. Hopefully they can maintain the conversation while they have their cardio workout.
I have another ride that I can add. I'd like to give a ride dedication to Coach Shane Trotter from my high school. He's been very supportive of me doing this throughout the whole process. I was actually planning on riding with him and hopefully a couple of of other coaches from Mansfield High School whenever we were rolling through Dallas. But unfortunately, we're not able to do that anymore. But yeah, keeping Coach Trotter and his family in my thoughts, and his 2 young kids.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Brian.
Thanks for the support, Richie. Got some alumni in the chat.
I like that background, his profile.
Is that Banff?
I think it's Banff.
Oh, we could have been there. We'll get there one day. Yeah, so there's a lot of riders on our team, right? Each year there's about 80 riders that go on that participate in the program each year. And so there's, of course, a lot of reasons why each of us ride. We joined this organization most likely because we were touched by cancer in some way. Most of us, it's directly. Some of us, it's indirectly. But how would one of y'all like to share how we tell each other why we ride each other at our meetings during onboarding and during our ride year, kind of how that works?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So we do something called Why I Rides, and the length of each person's Why I Ride varies. There's some that might be 15 minutes. There's some that might be 5 minutes. It just depends on why you decided to join T4K and what you're wanting to share with the team. But typically we would have 1 or 2 riders give a Why I Ride per meeting, and they just discuss their reasons for joining Texas 4000. And I think that it's really cool because I know for myself, and I think most of the team would agree with me with this, that in my Why I Ride, my reason that I gave or what I talked about there wasn't the same from when I joined, because it just kind of evolves and transforms throughout your time during Texas 4000, which I think is really cool because you're learning from your teammates and other things in life are happening. And so many people sent me reasons for riding after they would donate or just to tell me that they thought what I was doing was really awesome. And so it's definitely really cool to hear other people's inspiration for joining Texas 4000. And I think that it gives us a lot of purpose when we're biking. You know, what Simon was saying about how sometimes an 80-mile ride seems really long and hard, and especially when there's a lot of uphill because Austin's super hilly, but to have reasons from your teammates for doing what you're doing, I think makes it a lot more glorifying and doable.
Definitely. Thanks for the support, Sarah.
I still remember your wire ride page.
Yeah, because I read a
pretty
paper.
clear as well.
for having written it the night before or whenever.
Yeah, I did write that the night before.
Yeah, there's a lot of us don't like or are very nervous to do our wire rides to our team because we're speaking in front of 80 people about very vulnerable topics and loved ones that have passed or are fighting cancer or whatnot. So a lot of people were nervous to sign up to give the presentation, and some people put it off for a while and do it in the third semester. Some people are eager and do it the first semester. I think I kind of waited somewhere in the middle. But yeah, I remember it was kind of nervous because it's like, yeah, they can go, some of us could go on forever for Wire Ride, and we want to say so much stuff about our loved ones that have been affected by cancer. It's hard to kind of fit it all into, a PowerPoint, but they're very powerful, and it's one of the reasons a lot of us are able to get through our really long meetings every week, that can be several hours long, is because we're there to support our teammates that are giving their Wire Rides and hearing from them. So it's very meaningful.
Sarah says she rides for Barry. He passed from cancer. Yeah, we'll be riding for him.
Thanks for sharing, Sarah.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for the support.
Oh.
Thank you. All right, so we have just a couple minutes before our ride dedications wrap up, and we will begin our cycling live stream. So if there's any last ride dedications, go ahead and put them in the Facebook Live comments or YouTube. But yeah, are y'all looking forward to an hour of cycling?
Heck yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can a few days. I'm ready to go. So it looks like we don't have any last minute ride deads, but I would like to give a last minute ride dead to my Rockies team. I am missing y'all so much, 3 of y'all and the rest of them, and so I am also riding today for y'all and what we were able to do this summer, despite our setbacks.
Ditto.
And so in just a few minutes, we'll have Edward come on, and he will host us. Looks like we have one more right now from Bill. Writing in memory of his wife's best friend, Cindy, who battled cancer for several years. We'll write for her.
We'll be writing for her.
Thanks, Bill. And feel free to continue submitting your ride dedication throughout the cycling event, and we'll be able to write for those people too.
And thank you to all of you for joining us and giving your ride dedications. We're excited to have y'all start cycling here in a few minutes. We're going to take a short break, and then after that, we will see our 2020 riders on their bikes with our special host, Edward Egros. He was with us last week and is back by popular demand. Edward is a sportscaster who you may have seen on TVG and Fox Sports Southwest, and he currently has a podcast with Vocal Now. And we are so excited to have him back again, joining us tonight and having these Rockies riders getting to chat with him as we go. So we will be back shortly and look forward to seeing all of our Rockies riders ride tonight.
I'm bad at breaking up. Other people always made it look easy. If I didn't have to be in love, in a minute I would believe me. Cause I hate how much it hurts doing the right thing. I hate how much it hurts finding the ending. Cause I tried so hard to let you go, and I'm sorry I left you hanging. But without you I feel so alone. All the same, I can't keep waiting. So I don't wanna close the door, but I think I shouldn't see you anymore. I don't wanna close the door on you. Cause before, when I left it ajar, you and I took things way too far. Now I don't know what to do anymore but close the door. How do people do this? Forgetting they know somebody well, ignoring what they might miss. Are they better off? I can't tell. Cause I hate how much it hurts doing the right thing. I hate how much it hurts finding the ending. Cause I tried so hard to let you go, and I'm sorry I left you hanging. But without you I feel so alone. All the same, I can't keep waiting. So I don't wanna close the door, but I think I shouldn't see you anymore. I don't wanna close the door on you. Cause before, when I left it ajar, you and I took things way too far. So now I don't know what to do anymore but close the door. Silk satin sky with a cloud of cotton candy blue, soft spoken line from a rosy red point of view. God knows I've tried, dreaming power for the truth. I don't know why I was always so close to you. Life falls a little bit too soon, and I guess I called too late now. If I told you I was yours, would I be the one you waited for? If your eyes won't say the word when you're leaving, could you close the door? Oh, the lullaby from a woman walking on the moon, well running dry, living in a hot air balloon. God knows we tried, trading happiness for you. I guess I called too late now. If I told you I was yours, would I be the one you waited for? If your eyes won't say the word when you're leaving, could you close the door? If I told you I was yours, would I be the one you waited for? If your eyes
And welcome back to Texas 4000 for Cancer's 2020 Summer Ride Cycling broadcast presented by Abbott. My name is Edward Egros, and I am your host for tonight. I'm so excited to be along with riders from the Rockies route. For those of you who don't know, Texas 4000 for Cancer is a nonprofit organization that cultivates student leaders and engages communities in the fight against cancer. The organization's cornerstone event is an annual 4,000-plus mile bike ride from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska. The 78 members of the 2020 team had been preparing and training for their life-altering cross-country summer bike ride for 18 months. But due to COVID-19, they were forced to make the heartbreaking decision to cancel the 2020 ride to Alaska. The pandemic may have brought our world to a standstill, but cancer, it does rage on. So the ride must go on, but virtually. For the month of June, this team is riding to Alaska virtually. And I am so inspired by the individuals on this team who have shown tremendous courage and creativity throughout this time. I am here to MC today's broadcast. I am so excited to be back. I was here last Thursday, had an absolute blast, and Texas 4000 could not get rid of me. So I am back here and very much excited to meet a new crop of riders. And as always, just as with every other day, please post your comments and questions, and I will relay them to the riders as we go along. But first, let me introduce you to the riders who are with us tonight, who will be gracing us with their presence, their inspiration, and of course, their motivation for us to get out there. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at our riders as they hop on board their bikes. There they are. Very good. We've got Paige Hagan, we've got Simon Burke, and we have Brian Kim. Everyone wave, give a thumbs up. Thank you very much. How's everybody doing today?
Doing great.
Good. How
Excellent.
are you?
Perfect. All is doing well. I will not be on a bike for this, but you guys will be doing the work for me. So thank you very much for that. Paige, let's go ahead and start with you. What is your major, how far along you are in school, and how did you get involved in Texas 4000?
I'm a senior. Well, I guess I just graduated from chemical engineering. Yep. So.
You're in engineering? What kind of engineering?
Chemical.
Chemical engineering, very good. And what got you involved into Texas 4000?
I was just telling some of my teammates, actually. One of my really good friends in Kappa, my sorority, she did Texas 4000 her freshman and sophomore year. So she biked the summer after sophomore year. And I didn't know that much about it at the time, but I saw a bunch of pictures that she was posting on her social media platforms. And after seeing how awesome of an experience she had and talking to her a lot about it, I ended up deciding to apply.
That's terrific. Definitely want to get back to you as far as talking about how you got involved and how much experience you had coming into this. But let's talk to your fellow riders here. Simon Burke, you're up next. What's your major? How far along you are in school, and what got you involved into Texas 4000?
Thanks. I'm an incoming junior. I'm studying physics on the pre-med track. My sister also went to UT. She's 2 years ahead of me, or 4 years ahead of me, actually. And she had a lot of people who had a lot of friends who had done the program, and they all said great things about it. And I have had cancer in my family. I was already a cyclist, so it just kind of seemed like a great fit, and it was. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good introduction for me.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. And Brian Kim, you're up.
Hey, Edward. Thanks for being with us. Yeah, I'm a senior. Well, I just graduated with a degree in finance and math with a minor in stats. And what got me involved in T4K was I initially found out about this organization during my orientation. Thought to myself, that's really incredible and awesome, but I probably won't ever be a part of it. And then my sophomore year in college, my high school football coach, Coach Daniel Mayberry, was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma, which prompted me to apply, and here I am.
So a Dallas guy through and through. And I happen to have known Coach Mayberry, and I definitely want to talk more about that, no doubt about it, because he was a special guy to say the least, and definitely want to share some memories over the course of the next hour. But before we get to that, one thing that I definitely want to do is show off some of your fellow teammates here tonight who are also on Zoom, and they are also cycling with you. Let's go ahead and take a look at them, say hello, get a nice wave going. They're also early in the process as we say hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Give a big wave, a thumbs up. Great to see all of you here. Real pleasure to make your acquaintance here for what should be a fantastic next hour for this stage. Again, please submit questions for the riders, encouraging comments through the chat on Facebook. Hop on your stationary bike as well, joining these riders for tonight's ride. We will answer your questions during the broadcast and show your messages of encouragement. And I will get things started with some questions for the riders so that everyone can learn more about the riders, more about Texas 4000, and maybe also other ways that those who are here on the live stream can also participate. And Paige, let's begin with you. So, I'm curious, how much experience did you have riding a bike before you got involved in this?
Extremely minimal. I learned how to ride a bike, I think, when I was around 5 or 6. I was really young, and my parents taught me how. But in terms of cycling long distance, I had never done that. I think the most that I had gone before Texas 4000 was around 1 or 2 miles around my neighborhood with some of my friends. And well, actually, I did a bike ride down the volcano in Maui. Have you heard of that?
I don't think I have.
In Hawaii? No. Okay, well, you can do you go up for the sunrise and then cycle down Maui. And that was really rough, and I actually hated it. But I decided to do Texas 4000 anyways, and I definitely like biking a lot more now than I used to.
No doubt about it. You start to do it enough times, and certainly you get more used to it, and now you are the professional in the group here. So good to see that. Quick comment from Salva. Go Chris, I think it was. Go Chris. TG sends their love. So there you go. Thank you so much for sharing that, Salva. So as we get back to the riders here, one question that I have for Simon, you mentioned that cancer was in your family, and cancer, as we all know, is a horrible illness that can strike just about anybody. What can you share about what happened and how you were inspired to sort of help give back after what happened?
So in my family, we've got a lot of melanoma. I don't know what year it was that he got diagnosed, but first off, melanoma is the most deadly of the skin of the skin cancers. My grandfather got diagnosed in the early 2010s. He lost his fight in 2015, and then some other members of my family, close members of my family, were also under strict observation. They found some early stage stuff that got removed. Luckily, the power of early detection is really strong with a cancer like that. And so when I found this org, we do things like skin cancer screenings. We organize that stuff. So I really think it's great what we've been able to do, and spreading that to college students who are more likely to be out in the sun without sunscreen on, stuff like that. And put themselves at higher risk later in life. So I think we're in a really good position to make a difference on that front, along with the grant money that we're able to generate for these for several research institutions that are looking into that.
I mean, you certainly make a great point that it's not just about raising money, but it's also raising awareness that there are things that all of us can do just to make ourselves healthier. Comment from Bill, way to go, Rocks. I'm a parent of a 2018 Rockies rider, so I know how hard y'all have been training. Super proud of all of you. You are an impressive bunch. And I echo those sentiments, no doubt about it. So, Bill, thank you so much for that comment. Another comment from Katie. Great job, Paige. And who is Katie, I might add?
That is my mom.
That is your mom. We are very proud of your dedication to this cause. And so Mom is on the live stream. And so, Mom, thanks so much for being a part of this. And I know Paige very much appreciates that encouragement. And if you have any cool Paige stories, feel free to share them on the Facebook feed as well. Brian, I understand that you have a unique challenge here with your ride, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that in reference to the falling off thing?
Yes, it is. I'd love to hear more about this.
Okay, well, Paige could probably add some more color to the story as well, but basically what happened was about a week ago when we were doing our 24-hour relay ride, I think Paige and another fellow teammate, Grayson, they were riding at like 4 in the morning, and unfortunately she had some mechanical issues and fell off. And I was just saying, I'm kind of scared that might happen on the live stream as well. So, but Paige, if you want to add your perspective to that story.
Yeah, I would say bike mechanics is not my area of expertise. And I did not set up my bike in the trainer correctly. And with 5 minutes left of our 3 a.m. ride, I fell off my bike.
Oh boy. And this is a stationary bike, mind you, that we are.
It was this. It was this.
Yes, right. That one, exactly. Well, I will have my fingers crossed and my toes crossed, which you cannot see. We don't have any accidents here on these stationary bikes. But so far, you guys look great. No doubt about it. And definitely keep it up. So, definitely we're talking about, staying on your stationary bike. And Simon, I understand you also have a bit of a challenge here in terms of your ride.
What did you do?
Right before the stream, I lost my shoes. I don't know where they are. So
what are you wearing?
I'm cycling with socks.
What?
It's kind of painful.
Friendly reminder, Simon, we've got a long way to go. So,
I know.
Mind over matter here. Just, the last thing you need to do is think about how much your feet hurt. Just get through it and really, you get through this, then you will be the most inspirational of the whole, trio here. So you have the greatest opportunity. So good luck with that. But definitely no doubt about it. It's great seeing everybody, still going on strong. Love to check in with the teammates again, who are on their bikes, who are also riding with you guys, who are definitely no doubt doing a fantastic job keeping up and inspiring all of us who are a part of this live stream. Let's take a look. Great to see everybody there. Big wave, a thumbs up. Great to see everyone. Again, it's a pleasure to have you guys join us for this live stream. So let's get back to the riders here. And, one of the things that you guys, are a part of is a leadership development program. And Paige, I'm going to begin with you. What can you tell us about that and the real involvement and the time, effort, and energy required just to prepare for a ride like this?
Did you say we're beginning with me? You cut out for a second.
Sure. So tell me about the amount of time, effort, and energy that it took to be a part of Texas 4000, the preparations involved, and what was required of you to even make it this far.
Yeah. So every Monday night we would have meetings that normally lasted for about 2 to 4 hours, depending on the night. And then on top of that, we would have Saturday rides every morning, and we would have to report to the chemical engineering building in me and Simon. Simon's also an engineering major, so we spend a lot of time in that area and had to report there at 6:30 a.m. every Saturday. And then throughout the course of our training, our rides got longer and longer. So at the beginning, they would only last maybe an hour or two. But then by the end of it, when we were doing like 75, 80-mile rides, we weren't getting back until around 3:30, 4 p.m. on Saturday. And then on top of that, we do 50 hours of volunteering in the community before we bike. And that's split up amongst the 3 semesters that we spend preparing for the ride.
That's definitely a major time commitment and requires some real dedication. And certainly it's worth it in terms of the grueling task of getting through a 4,000-mile bike race, which is it's a lot in and of itself. But the terrain that you have to go through is also very much challenging. And Simon, I'd love to get your take in terms of when you have mountainous terrain that you are going through. Obviously, you're on a stationary bike, but certainly you can adapt the challenges to what you're doing right now. Tell me about what you do have to endure and overcome to be able to complete this.
So do you mean like physically? Because riding so first of all, riding on a trainer is much more difficult than riding on the road, principally because of the fact that you never get to coast. So you're always pushing against the so my trainer always applies a certain force that you have to keep working against in order to keep the bike moving. It's a lot easier. So you're definitely putting out a lot more force when you're on this thing.
And you mentioned not being able to coast, and you also have a unique challenge of basically being in the same place and having the exact same surroundings.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, that is also something different to where if, say, you're going through a tough stretch, you can't distract yourself by looking at something new. It's the same stuff over and over again, right?
Yeah. It's found a way to make itself even more mental. You just you just kind of have to keep going no matter how much it hurts. You just keep pushing.
No doubt
through.
about it.
Yeah.
Bill says, it's great seeing me again. Thank you for hosting. We can't see your bike. Well, it's in the other room, but at some point I'll come back and hop on board and definitely participate. I am also the one who does the most talking here. So, I hate to sound breathy for the live stream. So that's why, we are in this spot. One question. So we've got, engineering majors, those who are big into science. Brian, you're a math guy, and I'm also a math guy. Do you apply math in any particular way to the Texas 4000?
I don't really think so. Probably, if anything, you're just counting down the miles on how much you have left before you're finished. Sometimes what I like to do is think of it and try to think of it in percentages. So, I'll be like, oh, I have 10% more left to go or whatever. But I don't think much math is required to be on the bike.
That's fair. So if you are if you are math averse, for those interested in getting involved in this down the road, for you youngsters, then there you go. You'll be just fine. I want to sort of take this to a more serious side, Brian, because you mentioned Coach Mayberry out at Mansfield. I'm based in Dallas. I've covered high school football for years in Texas. Got to meet him. Great guy. I can't say enough good things about him and the legacy that he created there. And I'd love to get your take on the man he was and how he inspired you to be a part of this.
Yeah, definitely. Where do I even begin with him? Like you said, one of the most positive, most determined people that I've ever met in my life. I think the biggest thing that he taught me was how to respond to adversity in life. That's one thing that him and all the other coaches at Mansfield High School emphasized every day, whether it was just a normal workout or during a game, anything we were doing, they would say, when you're faced with adversity, how are you going to respond to it? Are you going to get down on yourself, feel sorry for yourself, or are you going to respond with positivity, with strength, with mental toughness, and fight through whatever you're going through? And I thought I learned what that phrase meant during my years in high school, but I don't think it was until Coach Mayberry's diagnosis and the fight that he was going through and how he lived out that motto that he was teaching us during all those days I was in high school that I truly learned what that saying meant. So that's the thing that's been keeping me going, whether it's on the bike or whether it's something trivial as like studying for a test late at night, is just keeping what he taught me in mind, which is I have this adversity in front of me. How am I going to respond to it? Am I going to fight through it, or am I going to give up? And I think my answer, thanks to Coach Mayberry, will always be, do everything that I absolutely can in order to fight through whatever that's in front of me. So I think that's like the biggest takeaway that I got from him.
He was certainly a man of his word. I remember talking to him after his diagnosis, doing a story on him, and he was as positive as anyone I had ever met. And already I could tell that coaches and players respected him, looked up to him, willing to follow his lead, no doubt about it. But even after the diagnosis, there was this sense of positivity that, yes, the community is rallying around him, no doubt about it. But the fact that he could command such a positive presence was truly inspiring, no doubt about it. And I got to believe, as someone who played for him, you probably think about him a lot when you go through those tough times, not just on the bike, but in anything else, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thought of him and his fight and his toughness is what got me through those long 75-mile training rides where, towards the end, I don't have anything left in the tank. I remember one ride, I literally felt like my vision kind of going blurry from like outside, but that just the thought of him and his fight is what keeps me pedaling through every hill, every crosswinds. It's just the fight and the mental toughness, the physical toughness that he showed me and pretty much everyone in the DFW community is what keeps me going.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And I know I can say with certainty that it wasn't just you inspired by him, but a lot of people who played for him, a lot of people who are from Mansfield, and anyone who cared about Texas high school football knew his story, and certainly became all the better by having any sort of interaction with him, no doubt about it. Paige, let me get back to you. And I know you mentioned that you didn't have a whole lot of writing experience. Amy chimes in on our Facebook feed. Go Paige. Thank you for that, Amy. Amy Hagan, which one is she in your family?
That's my aunt. And those are my two cousins in her profile picture.
So how many in your family are watching our live stream here?
I have no idea.
But this is a good supportive family, no doubt about it. Denise says, thank you, Rockies. You guys are an inspiration. No doubt about that. So the requirements to be in Texas 4000, it's not just, just having the dedication, but obviously a lot is asked out of you. What among all the things that you had to do to get this far do you feel like was the most difficult, that maybe you're the most proud of, that you were able to overcome?
I honestly would say time management. I think kind of what you just said, it's not just the biking. And I think going into the organization, that's what I thought it was going to be, was just primarily the bike training that would have been kind of taxing, but it's also physically that's very taxing, but then emotionally and mentally it can be draining at times, but also super fulfilling. And so having to balance meetings every week with volunteer hours every week with the fitness aspect of Texas 4000, there's just 3 pillars that we really have to hit as riders. And a lot of us are pre-med or doing very technical and difficult degrees. And so balancing Texas 4000 with your family and friends and social life and school, I think that taught me a lot about time management, and that's a skill that I'm going to be able to use for the rest of my life.
And Paige, I'm really glad you brought that up, because one of the things that I think the casual fan who covers college sports or anything like that may not understand is that the student athletes, those who are involved in strenuous activities, definitely challenging and difficult activities, a lot of time is required, a lot of effort and energy. All of those things make time management that much more important. And it's hard to get all of these things done with classes and all the other things that you talked about. So that part is also inspiring, no doubt. Another comment from Bill: love to hear stories from the riders about their most memorable training rides, the good, the tough, and what keeps you going. Simon, I'll start with you about that. What is the most memorable training ride that you had in all of this?
I had the privilege of being a Saturday ride coordinator, so my perspective is a little bit different. My most memorable training ride was probably the first time that we did beat caves, because it was the first real test for our team. It was tough for me too. I hadn't ridden hills like that in a while, so everyone knew it was going to be a challenge, and a lot of people were worried, like this is a lot of elevation that we haven't done before, but that they showed up that day, and they all got it done. They all went out, showed strength. I met up with a lot of them at the halfway point. Everyone was great. There's some people that were running out of energy, but I think Katie's mom showed up with donuts, the classic food, and we just kind of composed ourselves, went back. We all met up in the parking lot again, and we were like, wow, we did this. And we all knew that this was just the beginning, because it was just a 30-mile ride, but it was through some of the toughest roads of Austin. And so I was really proud of the team, and I was worried that I kind of pushed them too far that early, but it really, set the stage for us going really well into the half-century test. And we were, well ahead of schedule for the century test had that happened. So I will always cherish that day. Yeah.
So it was a 30-mile ride with some tough elevation, and you guys know Austin, that it's one of the hillier places in all of Texas. But it's also something too where you have that 30-mile ride, and then how much time do you have before the next big test as you continue to move forward?
So there were like 3 really tough rides that we had to do. The reason why I think that that was like the B caves, the first time that we did B caves was the most difficult, was because we did it so close after we started riding. But the other ones that were really tough happened about like 1 or 2 months out. We did Dam Loop, which is where we go down through B caves, and we just keep going up to Mansfield Dam, if you know where that is. And then we come back Anderson Mill. And we did that really well as well. When we went to the half-century test, which wasn't long after that, everyone actually passed on the first try. So that was amazing. That was a great day. Every single, there were some people who came into this org with no cycling experience, and they all rose to the occasion. So there were a lot of memorable experiences for me, a lot of memorable training rides. Thank you, Katie.
Katie says, my mom says, thank you for the shout out. And when we ride BC again, she'll get us tons of donuts again. So what kind of donuts are we talking here? What is the usual glazed ones, or do you guys have special requests? Or
man, she showed up with everything. She had lots. We had lots to choose from. It was a great day.
So one of the things that was brought up last time I was here with a different trio was Round Rock donuts, which I have never had before, and apparently they're as big as your head, the big ones. I just learned about this, and so I actually came prepared in terms of having research here. But what is the best recovery food, Brian, after a long, arduous ride?
Oh, I mean, literally anything, Edward. I remember after one ride, I got back home and I was so tired. I was just laying on my floor, and I just had this big bag of Cheetos, I think that I bought a couple days ago, and I crushed like the whole bag just laying there on my floor. So I think after a couple of hours of cycling, you're just at a point where you just want to eat whatever's in front of you. I think like the best peanut butter and jelly sandwich I ever had in my life was at a rest stop, like after 30 miles of biking. So, yeah.
And for time purposes, how long does it take the group to get through 30 miles?
Usually, I think anything sub 3 hours is making great time. I think we try to aim for 10 miles an hour. 10 miles an hour, yeah, including breaks. So a little bit under 3 hours. A ride to the rest stop. Maybe take a little break, have some food, and then get going again. And then with the rest stop added, it'll probably end up being 10 miles an hour. So
that's fantastic. Let me go ahead and check in with our other Zoom participants, your teammates who are also a part of our live stream. And everybody's on the bike. Everybody's getting their sweat on, and everybody looks great. Thank you again so much for being a part of this. Feel free to wave or give a thumbs up. Encouragement breeds encouragement. Again, great to see everybody out there on their stationary bikes being a part of this. So thank you very much for that. So let me get back to the riders. And Paige, I am curious because, this obviously isn't just, powering through a tough bike journey. You guys are also part of a cancer fighting organization. And I'd love to know how you guys serve and help out the cancer community.
Yeah, so we've volunteered throughout the year and a half that we were in Texas 4000 with various organizations that deal with cancer. Like one of the things that I did was I wrote letters to this organization called Girls Love Mail, and they were being sent to, I think, girls ages like elementary, middle, and high school, and we write them just a letter of encouragement. You might include your favorite quote in it or something else empowering, and send it to the organization, and they mail it off to girls that have cancer. And then actually throughout our ride, we make a lot of stops, especially the Ozarks route, but Rockies and Sierra do too, where we hand deliver our checks that we're donating to various hospitals that are located along our route. And so the Ozarks route actually goes through the cancer belt of America. They bike through the region that has the most cancer cases of anywhere else. And so that's why they do a lot of giving out our grants while we're riding.
That's terrific. Karen writes, thanks for writing, y'all. While your ride to Alaska hasn't turned out the way you anticipated, the Greater Cause appreciates everything y'all are doing. Karen, you're absolutely right. And this is something, Simon, that I'd love to ask you about. Obviously, it was a major disappointment to have, put in so much effort, so much training involved, and then to not be able to do it because of the pandemic. I know it was a major setback, but what is it about this group where you guys were able to talk to each other, motivate each other, and say, you know what, the show must go on. There's still an important cause to take care of here.
I think, the kind of people that come to this org are already the people that are willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I think a lot of us, the moment that we heard that it would be canceled, there were immediately plans made for reorganizing a virtual ride. So we jumped on top of it as soon as we knew that we had to do something. And I think that a lot of us saw the opportunity that was inherent in that, in that we get to experiment ways that we can engage communities that we wouldn't have otherwise come through. Talk to our supporters, get our mission out, talk about our stories to a wider audience. We can take what we've learned from this virtual ride and apply it in future years so that we can have an even bigger impact. And so I think that there are a lot of people on this team who realized the opportunity or the upside to the circumstances of the summer. So even though we didn't get to go to Alaska, we have some incredibly hard workers. Tony, who was on here earlier, has done amazing work. Colin, the RDs, all of our chairs, they're all amazing people, and they all work tremendously hard to make this happen. They all just sprung into action. And here we are today.
Absolutely. And after all of that, we're still able to enjoy, what you guys are doing and, basically be inspired by the work that you're putting in here. Brian, I'm curious, as far as cancer research, cancer support, how does Texas 4000 help out? Which organizations are helped out? And how does that all come together?
Yeah, so after we raise a bunch of money throughout the program, at the end of it, we'll get together a grant committee within the team, and we'll decide how much money we want to allocate to various support services, various cancer research programs that are out there. So for example, what usually happens is during our summer ride, we'll get to visit a lot of these places, and they'll give us a presentation on what they're doing. Couple of us on the 2020 team were lucky enough to visit MD Anderson during this past school year, where we got to see a presentation on a bunch of the new cancer research stuff that they were doing over there using our grant money. So once us writers see that throughout the summer, we'll get back together once we come back to Austin and decide, hey, these are the causes that really resonated with the team. Let's allocate X amount of dollars for this service, for this research grant, etc.
Terrific. Great stuff. Bill, with another comment, the selflessness and maturity of these writers is truly unbelievable. You give hope and inspiration to thousands. Keep turning circles. Absolutely, Bill. That's incredibly well put. Thank you so much for sharing that comment. Let's go ahead and check back in with our Zoom writers, your teammates, who are also a part of this process, and everybody's still cooking. Everybody's still grinding. That is great to see. And definitely it's something where, like I said before, inspiration and motivation breeds inspiration and motivation. And so we've got the hands up there. Very good. I know Tony, especially upper left, he is looking very much motivated there. There it is. Yes, he is now dancing. If you guys can't see that, that's great to see. I don't know if there's music involved or he's just dancing to his own rhythm. It really doesn't matter. Still, though, it's that's good. Now everyone else has to dance. That's how this works. So now Tony has led the way, and so now everyone else on the Zoom call. I know you have some moves that you're holding back, but don't hold back now because we've got another 15 minutes to go here. So this is the time to do that. So let's get back to the writers here. And, we talked about some of the life lessons that you guys have learned by going through all of this. The challenge is not just of the ride, but also with the pandemic and having to turn this from a trip to Alaska to basically staying in place and doing this on your stationary bikes. But Paige, I'm curious, what has been, perhaps the most inspiring thing that you've seen, maybe someone you've met throughout this entire experience?
I would say, honestly, it's from everything that's happened since coronavirus hit. I would like to make the case that my teammates are some of the most resilient people that I've ever met, and that our team is one of the most, if not the most resilient team Texas 4000 has ever seen. And just kind of like what, I don't remember if it was Simon or Brian was saying, but like it could have been very easy for us, I think it was Simon, to just give up once the ride was canceled. But immediately everyone was like, we have to do something else. We're not stopping here. We've worked too hard and put in too much time to this. So I think that seeing how everyone really made the most out of a bad situation, and we've all been in such close contact with one another since this happened, has been really inspiring. And that's something that I want to carry in again to the rest of my life, is just overcoming adversity and not letting setbacks deter you from whatever your goal is.
Absolutely. And I want to stick with you for this next question, Paige. Why is it important to support Texas 4000, the leadership program, and everything that you do for the cancer community?
Sorry, you cut out. Say that one more time.
Sure. Why is it important to help support the Texas 4000 leadership program and everything that you guys do to support the cancer community?
I think for two reasons. First and foremost, because again, with the ride dedications and why I rides just within our group of 80 people, it's so obvious how prevalent cancer still is in the world, and that every single person has a story that involves cancer. I've never met someone that, even if it's a really distant connection, like a friend of a friend's cousin, everyone knows someone who has cancer. So I think Texas 4000's work is really helping make a difference in spreading awareness that cancer is still very prevalent in the world and can turn someone's life upside down very quickly. And then secondary, because I think my teammates would echo this, but it transforms us as riders. I think some of the greatest lessons and greatest things that I've learned in college weren't in a classroom. It was through Texas 4000 and all of the opportunities that we've had through this organization to grow in leadership and charity and selflessness to one another. So I'd say those two things.
Terrific. That's terrific. Emily has a comment. Does the team have a mileage goal to reach on your trainers this month? If so, how is that going? Simon, I'll ask you that.
I don't have a specific goal that I've set for myself, but I know that the team is tallying everyone's mileage, and we'll see at the end, what we've been able to, how far we've been able to go. Maybe if Paige or Brian has set one for themselves.
Yeah, if either wants to chime in. Any personal goals, anything like that?
Nothing specific for me personally, but I believe one of our teammates, Colin, set a goal to hit 1,000 miles by the end of this.
Wow. And again,
there's a couple of my teammates in my designated ride group who I know their goal for the summer or for the virtual ride is to bike every single day. They don't have a set mileage goal, but whether that be biking indoor or outdoor, they want to be on the bike at some point every single day of the 28-day virtual ride.
It's definitely something where it sounds like a daunting goal, no doubt about it, but you guys are incredibly motivated to be able to accomplish just about anything you guys set out to do. Not to mention you break it up, you look at it, one day at a time, one stage at a time, and then you guys can take care of it, no doubt. And speaking of inspiring and being able to overcome challenges, Simon, how are the feet feeling?
It's a lot worse than I thought it would be. I have to my shins have to be completely tight the entire time, or I slip off. I've slipped off 3 times already, and there's more pressure on my butt because I can't use the pedals as a support for me. So you know what? We're getting through it. It's fine.
Yeah, yes, you are. And you look great. And I would not have known had you not told us beforehand. At least I wouldn't have noticed. So that's good to see. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Brian, how inspired are you that Simon's doing this without shoes?
Not gonna lie, pretty inspired. We have these. Our bikes are clip-in, so they're not like your traditional the traditional pedals that you see on just like a regular bike. They really don't have a place to put your foot on there unless you have the special cycling shoes. So yeah, pretty impressive stuff there, Simon.
And Emily has a comment on the feed. Hang in there, Simon. So now you have several people who are looking out for you and cannot wait to see how this all turns out, and that you're still able to fit in your shoes once you're finished with this ride. That's going to be the big thing. So we'll have to follow up on that. Brian, let me stick with you. Bill comments, Simon the Sufferer. Is that a medieval name? Like William the Conqueror or something like that? Is that Simon the Sufferer? It's good. Richard, Simon, don't try climbing off the saddle.
I don't think I will.
Fair enough. Good advice regardless. Christina, hi y'all. I'm a bit late to Ride Deads, but today marks a year since I had a pretty traumatic accident during my ride. I'd really like you guys to write for my 2019 Rockies and everyone they rode for. They were an incredible support system for me and still are. Christina, thank you so much for sharing with that. And, definitely a tough break there. Sorry to hear about your, accident. But, it's also something, too, where this is a challenge regardless. And, we talked about, falling off of bikes. And yeah, I know it can be kind of a funny moment, but sometimes, serious things can happen, like, getting a flat or something like that. Brian, anything in particular on any of your rides, such as getting a flat or something else that happened that you had to overcome?
For me personally, I don't think I've actually never had a flat, luckily. But I remember one day, I believe it was a Saturday dam loop ride, where there was this one really steep hill, and there was a stop sign right after it. And a couple of my teammates broke their chain all on that stop sign. I think it was due to being in like a high gear and then just like running into that really steep stop sign and then having to pedal through it on a high gear from nothing. But so I remember that pretty vividly, but luckily I've been pretty lucky. No flats or no broken chains or anything yet.
That's good to hear. And definitely, if I have some wood nearby to knock on, then I will make sure to do so that remains the case. Simon, any war stories as far as that's concerned in terms of either getting a flat or any other bike issues?
I have had to catch someone from falling.
You didn't break their fall, did you?
I actually did. I was stopped at a stop sign, and there was gravel right behind it on like going into the gutter of the road. And Catherine came up behind me and just like wiped out right into my bike. And I just like happened to catch like this part right before she hit the ground. So I was pretty thankful for that. But nothing too interesting. That's about as exciting as it got.
I think what you're doing right now is pretty exciting as well. That's also going to be a story, no doubt. Horst has Paige. We are so proud of you. Love Granny and Opa.
Yeah, that's my grandparents.
So we've had the grandparents, we've had your aunt, we've had your mom. There's got to be, we got to get them all in there, right? There's other family, right? You've got like second and third cousins who are also on the live stream, I assume?
I don't think so.
Oh, fair enough.
But they could be. I have no idea.
Why not? Fareed, awesome. I'm not in the team, but 1,145 miles is here, mostly on the trainer, but it's not crazy like Texas 4,000 miles. Still, though, anything you can do on the bike is terrific, no doubt about it, especially, as we're going through this pandemic, because I know for some people, it's definitely something where sometimes people lose motivation. Sometimes people are dealing with different things because now you're a little more isolated. You don't have the usual routine. that you set up for yourself. And Paige, I'm curious, if you had, either this happened to you or a teammate or something like that, how everybody rallies each other and helps them stay motivated, or if that conversation even needed to happen. Because when you have a routine and then a wrench is thrown into the plans, obviously that in and of itself is a challenge, right?
Yeah. We actually had a discussion about this at one of our meetings where it was kind of open talk and everyone voiced their opinions if they wanted to about how they were best motivated on the bike. And there were people on our team who were saying if they're struggling up a hill, to just not say anything to them, let them go and let them be in their head and work through it on their own, because that's how they like to deal with pain, I guess, and getting up things when they're struggling. But other people on our team really wanted to be motivated and rally behind and have teammates cheering them on, or people slow down to bike on either side of them. So that definitely varied person by person, but that was something that we discussed during meetings.
Very nice.
That's also my aunt.
Your aunt is back. Go team from Andrew and Samantha. Very nice.
My cousin.
Very cool. Yeah, and your cousin. See, there were more coming out of the woodwork, no doubt about it. It's great to see. You guys are great. Keep it up. Proud of you, Simon. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much for that. Let's check in with the rest of our riders on Zoom real fast. Your teammates still on their bikes. Yeah, everybody's still got their sweat on. Everybody's still pumping through for these final minutes, the final leg here of our live stream. Great to see everybody. Fantastic work. Very nicely done. Excellent. Everybody should be proud of themselves for not just making it this far, but continuing to look good in the process. So thank you very much for that. As we get close to closing this out, Brian, I want to get to you here. And, my question, I guess, is after this is all said and done, and, once things return to quote unquote normal, do you have plans on, getting this journey going again? Maybe having another path or race or something that you would like to be a part of and do something similar?
I haven't, to be honest, I haven't thought about it that far through. I would love to stay involved as an alumni. Unfortunately, because I'm graduating, I won't be able to defer to next year's team to ride on 2021. But yeah, hopefully I can, somehow stay involved with this organization even after I'm done riding.
Simon, same question.
I think I've made the decision that I can't, even though I'm going to be at UT Austin next year. It's going to be a tough year for me academically. So, something that a lot of alumni say to us is it's going to be different after you're done with the program. And I was one of the people that jumped into this right after joining college, right after going into college. So it's defined pretty much all of my college career. And so I'd love to stay involved as an alumni, help out where I can, pass down some of the things that I've learned as Saturday Ride coordinator. But they tell us to find our next Alaska. And I'm definitely going to try and do that. And I've definitely been changed as a person. I've learned a lot. It's been a formula that I just have to move on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything has a time and a place, no doubt about it. And Paige, I'll give you the last word here. Find your Alaska. Did I get that right?
What Simon just said?
Find your Alaska. Did I get that phrase right?
Find your next Alaska. Yeah.
Find your next Alaska.
Find your next Alaska, yeah.
What would you say is your next Alaska, if you have something?
My next Alaska is probably either getting my master's or potentially still Alaska. I am considering deferring to the 2021 team, so we'll see.
Terrific. Paige, Simon, Brian, and all of your teammates, thank you so much for being a part of this. It has been a real pleasure talking to you guys for this hour and watching you guys continue to grind. Again, an incredible inspiration, no doubt about it, and overcoming the various challenges that all of us have had to endure in some way, shape, or form. Again, real pleasure, and thank you so much for the conversation.
Thank you, Edward.
Thank you for having us, hosting us.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
And for everyone who's a part of the live stream, you can make a ride dedication anytime at texas4000.org. Please come back tomorrow night when you can meet more riders for more ride dedications. And of course, the cycling starts at 8 o'clock in the evening. You can donate to Texas 4000 or purchase Texas 4000 2020 team cycling jerseys and other merchandise, all to help support the fight against cancer at texas4000.org anytime. Thank you again to our presenting sponsor, Abbott, and to all our sponsors of the 2020 Summer Ride. And again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Have a great night.